wondering if we might be willing to put out there what our 3 doohickey problems are going to be. Come to at least an agreement on what our 3 problems we want to focus on.
What? Where is Ashley tonight?
She didn't tell me why she couldn't be here. She just notified me she couldn't. So I'm not sure exactly where she is. You know, most of everything is compensation. Compensation. I think definitely one of the glaring problems is their, you know, their wage policy. They're violating federal law by not paying overtime. That's we've kind of already talked about overtime, but so maybe we need to take it a little broader than that. You know, their compensation policy needs some working. And then definitely, now I think if we do the other one as just whether or not they unionize, I think that's too broad, because that's either a yes or no. You can't come up with 4 different solutions to that. So maybe their overall company culture needs to be looked at. Can we get talks about discipline and compensation packages, and definitely we can take on, you know, unionizing it as one of the solutions to their cultural problem. But I don't know why. I'm having a hard time coming up with 3 unique problems this week.
I just think, I mean, perhaps this is a side note, but I just think it's really lousy that that Ashley's the leader next week and she's not here and just wants us to come up with the questions. I think that.
Well,
that sucks.
I think you have a very valid point. Shall we just hold off then until?
That's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, she's. I'm happy to. I'm certainly happy to help. I think you know by now. I certainly have an opinion, and we can. No, I think like I said, I'm happy to give input and to come up with 3 problems as a group. But she just doesn't ever show up here, and I get that. I get that she has some issues or whatever, but. I mean, everybody does, right? I mean, we're all, everyone's busy and whatever. So I don't know. That would be my vote. Is that she's the doohickey leader? I'd say let's let her lead.
Colleen?
That's fine.
Okay.
I almost wondered, do we just need to kick her off doohickeys this week, or should we just let her take that responsibility?
Okay, so I'm Thursday night out of country, and I do not know if I will have internet. So I don't know how much help I'm going to be with the doohickey. I mean, I'm planning on having everything written up. So I really am not in a position to take on another doohickey report myself. Alina, kind of falls to you. Do you want to take over doohickey and then leave the last one for her? Hoping that's better.
Well, I'm fine with that. I just don't know. I mean, because she's not really here for this one either. So, I mean, at some point she's got to take responsibility for the group. So, I mean, do we let her have it this time, or I don't know.
I don't know. It's tough because, I mean,
it's our grade.
Right. Exactly. It's a group deal. I mean, like I said, last paper, I mean, everybody yeah, last time around when it was my turn, you know, both of you got on and you had really great edits, and everyone came. You guys did really. I felt like your contributions were really, really solid, and she literally didn't even look at the document. I mean, she did not even get onto the document, and I mean, she didn't even read it.
So we could apply our discipline without punishment reading.
Here it comes. Here it comes. How did I know? How did I know, Michelle?
No, I think, and let her know it isn't okay. But yeah, the question is, do we make her toe the line this week, or tell her that it hasn't been acceptable and she needs to step it up for the last one? I mean, it's a group decision. Which one do you guys want to do? Make her responsible for this one, or give her the opportunity to regroup and recommit herself?
I mean,
for the last one.
I think it's really got to be. I mean, Aline, I think it's really kind of up to you. I mean, I mean, it's. Do you want to write the doohickeys deal next week, or do you want to, have Ashley stick to what she committed to?
I don't really want to write it next week. I know we're all busy with Thanksgiving, but I
was gonna say she didn't even. It's not even that next week was the week that Ashley committed to. That was the default week that was left because she wasn't here when we were.
Yeah, she committed to the first one actually, and that happened right when she had to fly out for the funeral. So I told her I would take it over. Because she was at the funeral and during that time frame, so I told her I would switch with her and take it on.
Yeah, and then like my other thing is if would giving her more time produce a better paper from her, or is she not gonna try anyway, so it doesn't matter? So I don't know, and I'm not a great paper writer, and I think you both have set the bar. But I mean, if she,
I don't know, Dan really did a great job.
Well, I don't know. You're in the high 90s too.
You guys, that paper's on my fridge right now. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it would almost be nice to know what. I don't know. Like if she's gonna botch this one, it would be nice to know. It would be. That the next one's actually going to be. I hope it would be good. Like I said, I'm not a good writer, but I don't know.
And I do think that she wants to do a good job. I really do think that's a desire of hers. I really do. I think she just has a lot going on. So we just need to decide, do we let her off the hook one more time or hold her feet to the fire?
I'll just do it.
Go ahead.
Or not.
I was just gonna say it sounds like Aline doesn't want to, which I mean is cool. I mean,
it's okay because we all take on responsibilities that we have to live up to.
Yeah, I'll just do it. That way I don't have to stress about it for the next couple of weeks. So.
Okay, and then. Not the Thanksgiving week, but the week after that. That'll be Ashley's discussion leader week anyways, because we'll be right back to her again in the rotation, because she takes the weeks after Dan. So, but I won't be here for that meeting, but I'll post my comments on our group board prior to you guys' meeting so you can see my thoughts on that, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. Aline, take it away.
Okay. So, since I have doohickeys next week, we haven't really talked about topics, so if you guys will just email me this weekend your topics, so we can at least figure that out before our next meeting. I don't care if you've written your paragraphs or whatever, but at least we can like figure out our topics.
So,
Do you
what our
want to?
three problems are and what we would like to address. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, should we? I mean, should we figure out our at least our three problems, and then send you send you a summary of our solutions? Is that what you want to do? Or
Well, I just want to make sure that we're not doing the same topics. That's all. Because I usually write my paragraphs for that like Sunday, Monday. And so I don't want to be doing double work if you guys have picked the same topic. Does that make sense?
but to write up a topic, we have to agree on what
Yeah,
our
we have-
problems are, so we don't each come up with
Yeah,
different
because
problems.
we all write about the same problem, just a different solution.
Right. So do you want to pick up the problems right now and then you guys can tell me your solutions later, or what?
I think that would probably work
Okay.
best.
All right, so we have compensation and benefits. Was the first week.
And you know what? I think we can leave it as broad as that. Because, you know, like they don't have a 401k plan. That was the lessons where we were talking about whether we raise their pay or give them other, like, profit sharing or any of that sort of thing. So I think compensation and benefits as a problem all on its own is open-ended enough that we can come up with 4 different solutions on that.
And just because we've talked about something or addressed something in the past doesn't mean we can't bring it up again, because I mean a lot of these issues are very interrelated. You know, talking about hiring and paying decent wages or whatever, and here we are compensation and paying decent wages, or having benefits or whatever it is. I mean, there's definitely going to be some overlap. I don't think that's a problem. Okay,
By
so
the way, just so you guys know, that $8.50, which is a really good pay rate that they claim in the doohickeys, is only 25 cents above minimum wage in Illinois.
That's something to look at.
Yeah. Okay, so one problem, compensation and benefits. Problem number 2.
Is discipline and wage and hourly rate. Is that what it is? Hour laws. There we go.
Yeah, well, and that's definitely a problem is, they are in violation of wage and hour laws. Can you guys still see me? Because I've just done something to my screen.
Yeah,
I'm looking at
me too.
something else. Okay, compensation and benefits.
Can we get 4 different solutions, though, to...
Of discipline and wage and hour laws.
What do we have for
So for discipline,
Well, they don't have any type of like this whole discipline without punishment, or like the 1 write-up, 2 write-up, 3 write-up, or they don't have like a firing plan or
like I was gonna say. So yeah, there's that. I'm trying to think of the. I mean, I haven't read the problem for a couple of weeks, but there was that guy. There was a manager who asked the new HR guy to fire this guy because he didn't like him. And he dressed funny or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's funny.
Yeah, and he asked him, when asked, to see paperwork, he's like, oh, that's an HR deal or whatever. I mean, so that's definitely, having some type of, like you were saying, Eileen, having those type of things in place. Also, I mean, I think we could definitely talk about the sexual harassment At least
Put that in again.
at
Yeah.
least address. I mean, because that's an issue, and obviously there wasn't any discipline, taking place.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just trying to.
No, Dan, I think you're right because we have kind of looked at too the overtime payment, but we could easily lump wage and hour up into compensation and address it there. So I think discipline's a good one for the second one.
Okay.
So then that leaves the third week is talking about organized labor. I think we need to kind of change our focus on that and not call it organized labor because that really is, do you or don't you unionize? Kind of, to me, that's how I see it. I don't see how you get 4 options out of it. I think the organized labor is really relating to a bigger overall problem is everyone's fed up and the culture is just at an all-time stuck rocks at Doohickeys, and organizing, organized labor is a solution to it potentially. I don't know. What do you guys think on that one? Can you see 4 solutions to it?
I probably want to.
Yeah, I gotta read it first before I think about it.
Okay, yeah, I think that's totally acceptable.
I mean, I think these things give us. I mean, I think we have an idea. I think we're sort of pointed in the right direction, and if we can just, come up with solutions. And if someone comes up with something else, that's, by all means, like let's suggest it and whatever.
Then,
but
so it'll be that organized labor issue, whatever we decide to title it as.
Right. Sure.
What do you guys think is the most pressing?
I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of think that I don't want to be the negative person and say the discipline aspect of it, where they know step by step what they need to do. But I also think that there's that benefits aspect where if we focus on the benefits and the compensation, that would actually help culture, which would kind of steer us away from the discipline. So I would probably say the benefits and compensation.
I would like I said, I'm going to take a look at it again and see what we can come up with, and see if there's anything that really pops. See if there's anything that really jumps out as like this as stronger, stronger than the others.
Okay, sounds fair.
So, all right.
Okay. Let's move on to the assignment then. Okay, so what do you guys think it would be like to be a TSA agent?
It'd be terrible.
Right.
I am not observant. I mean, I'm patient with people, but I'm not observant enough to last as a TSA agent. I'll give them credit for that, man.
Yeah, it's just too repetitive. I mean, even switching it up and doing different, it's just too repetitive.
I know what I am when I'm a traveler. Like, I don't want to have to be the person that has to deal with me and my screaming children at an airport.
Yeah.
So, fun for them. Okay. Michelle, what should O'Reilly do about Sanchez?
Oh. I so want to give him a benefit of a doubt. I mean, he's an exemplary minus that little retraining thing, but he enjoys working with the people. He stayed at this position because he likes it. Typically, he's really good at his job. He definitely has a clear policy violation. He was not supposed to be on his cell phone, and it led to he lucked out. No one got injured, and it didn't cause any, major problems. But it had a really severe, severe potential to it. I would like to see him keep his job, but I think that there needs to be some sort of really strong disciplinary action to this, just because of the potential harm that could have happened.
Okay. Dan, what do you think?
I tell you what, reading the what is it, discipline without punishment, I did not see any difference whatsoever in what they were calling the old way of doing things and their blessed new way. I just couldn't. I mean, it just seemed like they retitled all this. Well, first, instead of a first verbal warning, we're going to call this, just a chat. We're just going to chat about it, and we're just going to recommit to do better or whatever. I don't know. So, personally, if it were me, I would definitely send a message. I mean, this is sort of strike two in. He had that. He had to be retrained a while ago or whatever. So I would probably. I mean, if it were me, I'd probably do some type of just try to send a really strong message. Maybe do a, put him on probation, or I mean, I'd probably, like she was saying, she had to decide if she was going to let him work. I probably wouldn't let him work. I'd probably send him home for a week, and just say, look, you need to just, you got to figure out if you're gonna, I know it doesn't seem like a big thing, and it's really, we're on our phones all the time, but this could have been really bad, and it just makes us look bad. It makes me look bad. You got one more shot, just whatever. So that's what I would do. I would suspend him. I would suspend him, for a couple days, for a couple shifts or whatever, and then put him on probation.
Okay. So what do you think the other TSOs would think if he stayed on? Like, would his punishment have to be public?
It would have to be public, I think.
Yeah, I think that's part of the benefit, definitely.
Okay.
Well, and I think it even says in there that they're looking for. I think they're. Oh, no, I'm not seeing it, so it might be something different. I'll get back to that thought a little later.
Okay. So, Dan mentioned that the discipline without punishment approach to this is no different than the original. What do you think, Michelle? Do you think that something like this would work in Sanchez's case?
I think it has to take into consideration the type of business you're in.
Okay.
When people's lives are at risk, a form of this can work, but I don't think it can be quite as. You might have to do away. I think you might have to do away with kind of those. What are they called? Formal, verbal.
Positive contacts.
That, yeah, and I think you have to modify it when you're dealing with a situation like a TSA job. Oh, I can't find it because I'm looking at the wrong document. So in the formal reminders, I don't know if you can wait for those. You might have to, kind of put those on the back burner and go towards more the sit it out and think it over. Can you do this job or not, and come back to me?
Yeah. So do you think that having him be put on suspension or losing a couple of days of work would satisfy the breach of, I guess it's not national security, is it? Airport security. I mean, it seems like it's a big deal.
Seems like it's a big deal. And I think he does have to spend some time off. I think there has to be some sort of suspension in that. Noted at the bottom, the demotion that he would be given if he was demoted would put him permanently in the exact same doing what he was doing when the breach occurred. I mean, that's the position, being that security door guy is the demotion. So,
Right.
you know, but yeah, I think he has to spend some time away from the job, decide, you know, if he can do this or not, and yeah, there might need to be, I don't know, demotion or you know, suspend his next pay raise if they come after. I'm not clear on, if they give pay raises based on just job jumps, or if it's, you know, because he's been in the same job for what, like 8 years. So, you know, put this in his record file more on a permanent thing, and it'll stay in there, you know, longer, and it's going to affect his pay scale, and yeah.
So, Dan, what do you think it would take for him to get fired?
Well, I mean, anything else. I mean, like I said, it's strike two, and I mean the only real reason I would give him, you know, another chance is because he's such a great, you know, seems to be such a great employee. You know, it's hard to come by. I mean, with a turnover rate of, you know, 20% or close to it. I mean, you know, finding someone who's charismatic and loves their job and likes it enough to, I mean, a lot of people in those jobs, they just want to, you know, they're punching the time clock, or, you know, or whatever, or they want to, you know, they're just there long enough to, like it was saying, you know, leverage that position into something else, be it, you know, management or otherwise. But he just really seemed to like what he's doing, and that's really that's worth a lot in my opinion. So I mean, I would give him another chance, but as far as firing, you know, as far as what it would take for him to get fired, just any misstep. I mean, at this point, and that's allows. I mean, like I said, I think that would be some type of probation, you know, and you don't want that to, you don't want him to feel like, you know, he has to walk on eggshells for the rest of his, you know, for the rest of his life. I did like the fact that they pointed out in the new, you know, new and improved, same old thing, that you know, after a certain period of time, that those, you know, write-ups would fall off at HR. I like that they pointed that out. So, but yeah, I would say he's fired if anything else.
Yeah, if he gets another.
Anything else comes up.
Yeah, and the other thing is I do think this in of itself is a fireable offense.
Totally.
I think it's just his exemplary record of the past, and that he's such a good employee, might warrant him being given.
Yeah. So if he was mediocre and did this, he'd have to be gone.
Okay. Okay, so we know he is an exemplary employee. He loves his job. He is committed to, like, the actual policies of TSA, and he is probably making $25,000 to $35,000 a year, saving up for his daughter to go to college, which is why he was taking on a second shift, which is why he was on his cell phone talking to his daughter. So if they were to give him a promotion and a raise, so it balances out, he doesn't have to work as much, and he's getting more money to take care of his personal needs. What do you guys think about that? Does he deserve that?
For me right now, I don't think I would be comfortable going to that extent at this point. That is really going to send the wrong message to the other workers. Here he's getting more money after this big, huge that, shut down the airport for 45 minutes. Could have potentially have been a terrorist attack or leading up to a terrorist attack someplace else. Not only did it affect Logan Airport, but it threw off flight schedules for all of those other flights, where they were landing and continuing on to. And that, I think it's too big of a breach to be able to look at this and say, hey, we understand maybe you were tired and you needed, you're trying to get your daughter through college. I think it's too soon to do.
And besides, he has chosen this career path. He knew going into it. He knew what the wage was. He also has sounds to me like he's declined promotion. That I imagine would probably come with a pay increase. I just don't think it's. I think it's his responsibility as an adult to if he needs more money, maybe he needs to go someplace else. There are other jobs where you can work with people and find meaning in your job. If that's really the issue, then yeah, he would probably do better to go somewhere else. I just don't think you can, like Michelle was saying, I don't think after a breach like this, you turn around and give him a raise. That just doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay. Do you think that the security breach was entirely Sanchez's fault?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's guarding the gate. He's the guy. You get some. Granted, the guy who was the breacher, the trespasser. He was some foreign guy who didn't know what he was doing probably. But that's why you have a guard there. To stop the crazy foreigner from going the wrong way. Yeah, it was totally his fault.
Do you think that TSA's that they allowed him to work extra shifts contributed to it at all? Would they be responsible in that aspect?
Were they back-to-back shifts? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think they were.
Well, he got off. He said he worked until 8 p.m. and then came back at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So it was a quick turnaround.
A quick turnaround, but not outrageously so. I don't think it was because he was tired.
Right.
He violated policy and let himself become distracted. It wasn't an emergency. He was just checking in on his daughter, making sure she did her homework because he was looking forward to spending time with her that evening. And I don't think that was because of lack of sleep or anything. I think they gave enough time. I think they gave enough time between the two shifts that he should have been able to be fully alert and capable of doing his job.
Okay. Do you think that TSA's policies were good enough to prevent the situation, or do they have room for improvement?
They had a guard. Policy was they had a guard. He dropped the
and
ball.
you'd not be on your cell phone.
Right. Yeah, I think they probably did their due diligence. I think he just he was the weak link that day.
Okay.
I think they do have good policies. Anytime you have something like this that happens, it gives you the opportunity to definitely look at what the underlying issues were. The person that was supposed to be overlooking the window didn't see it either because they were on a conference call. So, anytime something like this happens, you can definitely look to see if there's, room for improvement. But I think overall, they're probably pretty good.
Okay. So one of their problems was that they would hire people. They hired people right after September 11th, and those people were gung ho about security and the mission of TSA. But all of these new hires just kind of want to have a paycheck. How do you think TSA can make their jobs more meaningful?
Oh. Well, I think they need to look at maybe increasing their integration system, training, cross-training. Maybe look at if there's any way that they can bring in a little more responsibility. It's really getting to where you can only go so far, and then it's really hard to push forward into anything else. So maybe, I don't know, some alternative job description, job openings type thing to allow them a little more lateral growth in the company if they can't go upwards.
Do you think that their hiring practices contribute or hurt the mission? What do you think, Dan?
I'm trying to think of their. Yeah, I remember it saying that they were having a problem with hiring people. What have they done? I'm trying to think. What have they changed anything lately? I don't remember anything that they've. I remember it saying that their. I remember it saying that their. I don't know, that their average applicants, age has come down, and it was sort of a hodgepodge of people because there's not really a background to do this. I don't know. Had people coming from sales and retail and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know that they're hiring. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I remember it saying that they hired like 50,000 employees in like 3 years, which that in itself is a big job, let alone like the training that goes into 50,000 people. And then their 20% drop in employees, so they're just like mass hiring just to keep bodies in there.
Right.
Yeah. And that always causes problems when you're having.
Sure, but like, is that really a hiring practice? Their hiring practice is okay. We got to have warm bodies, in the line or whatever. But maybe it's the retention and I don't know. Maybe there are other issues, I think.
So that's part of it, but there's a bigger picture going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, so we have to role play, and I know how we all love this. We're getting into the fun part of class. So somebody, Michelle probably, gets to be Mina O'Reilly, and Dan, you can take on Sanchez.
All right.
So O'Reilly, Michelle, you're gonna have this conversation with Sanchez about his performance and what it is that she has to tell him and what her decision is about his suspension and pay and if he's getting fired and stuff.
Oh man.
What would you say to Sanchez?
What would I say to Sanchez?
How about we not role play and we just talk about what we would say to Sanchez?
So what I would mention, I would bring him into the office, of course, making it public, or not public, but private, and just let him know that he's valued as an employee, that he has done, a good job up until now, and that we definitely appreciate that, and that I'm pretty sure he understands why he's in here, and just discuss with him and hear his side of the story of what caused it and what brought it about, and talk to him about that. And then, Dan, what would he be saying?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Man, there's no excuse. I have to do better. I love my job.
Yep, and that would be it, man. Sanchez, I know you love your job, and that's what makes working with you, so great. Because that enthusiasm for your job plays across to the travelers. You help keep an even tone to the checkpoint. You help it run efficiently. That you put travelers at ease.
Yeah, I really like to.
Yeah, I know, and I don't want to have to fire you, but.
Oh, please don't fire me! Don't fire me! It's just working the exit door. Working the exit door is just really hard. You're all by yourself, and you don't get any, customer interaction. I like to be over with, where the people are.
Yeah. So, do you guys PSAs penalties are actually searchable on the web? What their policy is, and it doesn't fall into the intentionally. I don't think it was intentional. So, but anything in the screening and security side of the thing comes with a minimum of a 3-day suspension up to removal. So, we need to be following. Unfortunately, I need to follow, policy here, and you want to stay in the job, and are you committed to making sure that policy breach like this don't continue to happen?
Oh yeah, absolutely, totally committed. I can't miss any work though.
Well, unfortunately, I think we're at a it was serious enough, Sanchez, that as much as I hate to do it, we have to do a suspension. We're going to have to do a suspension and give you time, to think it over. It wasn't just Logan Airport that was affected. This was a national, affected other airports in that, and it was a extremely potential, detrimental things. And
I don't have to work the exit line anymore, do I?
I think we'll do. I'm going to recommend a 3-day suspension, and some retraining, and we'll reevaluate when you come back whether or not we have to add demotion to that. I think we need to take some time and think about this, and then potentially there might be further consequences to it. And I'll get with our overall manager on this and see what we can do.
All right.
You're a great worker, and I really want you to come back and, come back fully recharged and ready to go ahead. And we'll see what you think about it when you come back. If you can stay on the line, or if we need to take a step back.
All right.
Gee, man, really? It's that easy?
Bravo! Bravo! That was awesome. Was there any... Go ahead.
The other thing that I was saying before, because I couldn't remember if I read it in our reading or if I read it when I was looking at the TSA, I think they have to. I think they have to do a press release saying what happened. So it has to be something public. I read it, and now I don't know where I read that.
Yeah,
So,
my assignment is to come up. My assignment is to come up with a press release.
Oh, that's where I saw it. Okay, that's where.
Was there any part of that conversation where it was hard to say?
Yeah, please don't lay me off work. And I'm like, oh man, I was thinking 7 days. Okay. See, I would not make it good. I would not make. I'm such a softie.
No, you said.
I think his record really goes in favor of him. I really do, and I think it would have, if the outcome of this would have been any different, definitely, it would have had to be even more than that, removal or a longer suspension time.
So, Dan, you agree with suspension?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what has to happen.
Okay.
Would you go longer, Dan? Do you think it deserves a longer suspension? 3 days is the minimal under their policy.
I'd probably go a week. I really would. I'd go a week. I think I would probably give. See, I'm all about the. I'm all about the punishment. It talked about giving the guy like the new, the better way to go or whatever. Talked about giving him paid time off but then giving them something to think about or something to do or whatever while they're doing that. And I might do that. I might give him a suspension and say, look, you've got to come up with, when you come back, you're gonna have to, explain to your peers or come up with some suggestions on how to maintain your focus while you're at work or something. Give him something to think about, something to do while he has time off. I don't know.
Okay.
Hard to say.
So Sanchez got a warning, but he was not fired. However, 2 months later, he caused another serious breach.
Oh man!
Gone.
Sanchez, man.
Gone. He is
Yeah.
worthless. Get him out of there.
So you would fire him after that point?
I don't even know what happened, and I would fire him. I don't even know what the breach was, But he's
Okay,
gone.
so how do you feel about what does this teach us about discipline now? Had we not talked to him, would we be able to fire him now?
Oh, you still would have been able to fire
You
him.
can fire him whenever, yeah.
Yeah, but now you can do it. Now I can do it without that guilty conscience. Like, he's such a great, and could he have worked it out? And yeah, but a second serious within 2 months, yeah. 8 years evidently is as long as he can handle this.
That's right. Yep.
He needs to move on.
All right. Sounds good. That's all I have for this assignment.
All
So
right.
great role play, you guys.
Well, sort of.
Great.
Okay, so when do you want ideas to you? Again,
Just sometime this weekend,
sometime this weekend. Okay.
like Sunday night.
Okay. Sounds good. And next week, Thanksgiving week, we are doing status meeting at the same time, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want me to email Ashley and tell her I'm doing doohickeys this week?
Do you
Or
want
are you
to?
going to talk to her?
Well, I'm going to talk to her too, but do you want to go ahead and let her know? I mean,
Yeah, I can do that. That's fine.
yeah, go ahead and let her know that you're going to take it over, and then I'll get with her too, and
Okay.
I'll remind her that she gets to do the group discussion the week after Thanksgiving, so she's group leader then that week.
Okay.
Okay, and then Dan, we're clear. We're doing this next week we'll start with each of us doing our own individual, and then I'll do a group chat with all of us about, well, we can text each other when we're done with our side of the terms that we want met, and then
Okay.
and then I'll do a big group with all four of us after we meet.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Have a,
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.